behalf of women in their 50s, thank you very, very much for your fantastic documentary that aired almost a year ago now, actually.
Yeah.
Sex, Myths and the Menopause on Channel 4. And this was a groundbreaking documentary talking about HRT and the menopause and what happens to women. I think a lot of men learnt an awful lot, as well as a lot of women who perhaps didn't know what they were going through and hadn't been given any help. And this is about women getting hold of drugs which can change their lives.
I mean, Julia, what was frustrating about that documentary when it came out was that it became very apparent that we know nothing. I mean, we are so in the dark about something that happens to 52% of this population. And let's not forget, we pay the 52% of national insurance towards the health service. And literally, doctors do not learn about something that's going to happen to all of us that affects the whole of society. So it's absolutely insane that we're scrabbling around on the internet, or we're scrabbling around for Facebook groups and often with women sharing misinformation. It's not their fault, but they haven't quite got the correct details because it's not on the internet. It's mad that we can't get correct scientific facts on what's happening to our bodies and what to do about it.
Yeah, I'm amazed by the number of women I know who just, they'll talk about various symptoms and I'll say, yeah, you're perimenopausal. You need to go to the doctor and get yourself some HRT. And when they go to the doctor, they're told, no, 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 or they're told you've got depression. The number of women who are given antidepressants, they're not depressed. They just haven't had a good night's sleep for the last year because of the hot flushes.
What's interesting, actually, because the NICE guidelines do actually say, and if a woman is wondering if she's perimenopausal and she wants to go and look up some symptoms, if you go to your GP and you are over 45, if you quote the NICE guidelines, they say if you're over 45 and you're feeling anxious or depressed, the first test should be given, you should be given HRT.
Yeah. And yet that isn't happening. And we know also, even if you are given that test and if they say you do need HRT, a lot of women are still very scared about it. And I thought you did a brilliant little bit in your documentary with those wonderful old, all parents will know well, those soft play areas with the balls, showing just the level of risk. Because lots of women have been told for years, look, you can't take HRT because it will increase your risk of various cancers. And so women shy away from it. But you were able to sort of show visually, tell us what you did to prove that, look, it's not that big a risk.
Well, what we wanted to show was the actual scale. So your risk, so 1 in 7 of us are going to get breast cancer anyway. And if you drink moderately, say we had 1,000 balls in a ball pit, and if you drink moderately, that would be maybe 1 large glass of wine a day, your risk would be 5 in 1,000, increased by 5 in 1,000. If you take HRT, your increased risk is 4 in 1,000. So it's less than drinking moderately. And nobody says to anybody, oh, don't drink because you've got a slightly increased risk of breast cancer. So that kind of puts it into perspective. When you look at HRT, we've got a new documentary coming out on Channel 4 about this on Monday night. When you look at the benefits of HRT, you have to weigh up the risk and the benefit. And in fact, for me, the benefits were far greater than the risk.
And for most women, the trouble with this conversation, I know right now there'll be an awful lot of men going, oh, God, I don't want to hear about this. I'm eating my breakfast, love. What's the problem? And there'll be an awful lot of women, and a lot of women, of a certain age, people like me, like you, who would say, well, I don't want to flag up that I'm menopause. I don't want to flag up that I'm getting older. Getting older is a bad thing. And why are people so squeamish about something which, as you say, happens to half the population? Every single person listening right now. It happened to your mum. It's going to happen to you or to your wife, your girlfriend, your sister. It's going to happen to your daughters. It's going to every single family is going to go through this at some point. And yet people don't want to talk about it.
Well, let's just put it into perspective, because even if it's not happening to you specifically, it's definitely going to be happening to somebody you know.
Oh, my menopause is definitely happening to my husband.
and the important thing, is, Julia, is that these people have to live with us, and they often are absolutely bewildered. It's a bit like when a woman gives birth. It's like they're powerless. They don't know what to do. They hate seeing the people that they love in pain. Children, teenagers are very affected by their mums' moods. They're up and down. Teachers, at work, you're affected by people's mood. And often we don't even know what's happening to us. So it's very important that we share. And there is a perception, culturally, we need to change the way that women are viewed at our age, because we're extremely valuable. We're blooming good at our jobs. We really are really on it because we've got kids that have grown up and gone away. We there's so many benefits to being this age, but we need to fly the flag so that it's a positive experience for younger women. I just quickly wanted to say about the money aspect. You just had somebody on previously talking about the state of the economy and how hard life is for people. You know, we were made a promise by the government at the end of last year. I don't know if you saw, but we went to Parliament Square, we marched, and Carolyn Harris did an amazing job of pushing through a legislation that prescriptions were going to be a one-time, once-a-year charge, because these prescription charges, they're a lot. And if you're taking 2 types of hormone, which most people do, then that's 2 prescription charges. And it still hasn't come through. It isn't that.
And it only affects half the population. Well, there's also again this issue of this postcode lottery as well. It's so great to talk to you. I think you've just been a fantastic campaigner on this issue, Davina. I know lots of women will be cheering you on.